So I said, to be honest, I've heard a lot about them, and do I really need to go on them? He says, well, he says, yours is hereditary. So, well, what happens if I don't take them? He says, you'll have a heart attack and die.
Cora, how did you find Carnivore?
Well, I found it very easily to adapt to it. It came about through a friend of ours, George, who spoke to my husband, and my husband said he'd like to give it a go, but he didn't expect me to do it as well. And I said I will support him. I said, yeah, I'll give it a go. And we found that it was very easy to get into. We didn't miss the bread. It was very weird, really, because I love crusty bread. I love having the doorstop fish finger sandwiches or bacon sandwich or sausage sandwich, anything to do with the bread side of it. And we didn't miss it. We were very, very surprised, thinking that you're not going to fill up just having this meat. I found that before going on to this, anything that I'd had eaten, I always used to feel bloated, felt tired, very sluggish, wasn't in the right mind space. But on this, it seemed to sort of give us a new lease of life. Got more energy, you're more attentive, things sink into you, your mind a lot more. And right, I just can't believe how quickly we've got into it. I've tried loads of diets over the years. Tried the cabbage soup diet. I've tried the 3-for-1 diet. I've tried, well, the cabbage soup diet was absolutely a horrible thing. It's everything that you don't want to do, because you, in your mind, you're looking at everybody else eating and thinking, why am I sitting and suffering through eating this horrible stuff that I don't want just to lose weight? And not only that, once you stop it and you go back to normal food, the weight goes back on again. So this one is throughout, well, I'm 64, so I've never tried anything like this before, and this has been a real eye-opener, really has. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoying doing this diet. We
Yeah.
had a couple of times. We thought, well, is it because of the diet? Is it something in your mind? We're going to try and we're going to have a takeaway. Worst thing we did. Suffered stomach pains, bloatedness, feeling just as though we did something bad to our body. And then once we went back on to doing what we're doing, it was only literally just sort of that one instance, but it did make a big difference. Very big difference.
So, how long has it been now?
Uh, must have been. Well, I've been at my new job a year. It was a year May. So oh, crikey. It's got to be coming up a year. It's got to be coming up a year. Yeah. And I'm
Wow.
just over, or just 13 stone. And now I'm 10.7. 10.7 now. Yeah. Because to me, it's a slow process, but it's effective. It's effective. Any diet that you go on, you want to see immediate reactions or to your body and how you're changing, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, just having this meal. Do I want something else? And the urge is not there to eat the rubbish. It's just not there. We try different ways of having the egg. We'll have like fried egg, and it's all in butter. We don't use any oils as such. It's just all fresh butter. As I say, mushrooms, egg, bacon. We have fish. We alternate and have a variety of different fishes, but they're just plain fish. And well, I can't stress enough how much I'm feeling healthier about it. My husband feels better for it, but there are times where he'll say, well, I'm not lost as much as you, but it's only because the work that I do, I'm on the go all the time. So it's incorporating a bit of exercise with what you're doing makes a big difference.
So was it primarily about weight loss for both of you, or were there other reasons you went into it?
It was primarily about the weight loss. Yeah, definitely about the weight loss. And I thought, oh, this is going to be another one of those things, you do it a few days and feel, I want to have this and I want to have that. But, it didn't go down those lines at all. To be honest, I take atorvastatin, and I was told that I had to go on atorvastatin, and it was hereditary because my cholesterol was high. How this came about? And this came about 3 years ago. Must be no, it might be been more than that. 5, 6, 7 years. It must be. I started working for Lloyd's Pharmacy, and we had to do these health checks on customers. So they had to show me what it is I had to do like your blood test to find out about your blood pressure and your cholesterol and sugar levels and what have you. And they said, well, try it on you if that's okay. I said, okay. And they went, oh, your cholesterol's a bit high. Oh, we'll do it again. So she done it again. She says, no, it's gone up again. She says, I think you need to go and see the doctor. So I went and saw the doctor, and I said to him, about it. Oh, we'll put you on some statins. I said, to be honest, I've heard a lot about them, and do I really need to go on them? He says, well, yours is hereditary. So, well, what happens if I don't take them? He says, you'll have a heart attack and die. So I went on them, and I've been on them ever since. But I can't understand why it would be hereditary, because I know nothing about my family. My mum died at 49, my dad died at 69. So there's been no conversation about any illnesses or any problems with their health. So they both died of cancer, but different types. So I don't know. When I have,
So
sorry.
sounds like the doctor that said it's hereditary is just pulling that out of his backside, no?
Well, I'm due for a birthday review, so I am going to challenge it and say, where does this come from? Because I did say to George, I did stop them. I stopped them for about 2 months, and I don't know whether it's to do with that. I couldn't put my hand on my heart to say so, but I started getting palpitations. I was getting quite tight in the chest. Whether it was a unconscious worry that why, because nobody can tell you don't do that, because I'm not a medical person. I don't know. I'm believing what I've been told. So I did go back on them. So I've always got a backup of supply. So I'm just going to wait now until I do see them to find out. Is it that, isn't it?
So, regarding eating carnivore, have you found, besides the weight loss, which is, I mean, great result,
Yeah.
have you found any other improvements, like things with sleep or energy, things like that?
Or a lot more energy. A lot more energy. Saying that, yeah, a lot more energy. But the job that I'm doing at the moment, because it's quite physical, that is wearing me down, because you're walking here, there, and everywhere. You're lifting big, heavy plates. You're doing the glasses. And I think I have said to my manager, I said, I think it's just too many hours that I'm doing at the moment. So I'm going to cut them down. But regardless of the job, all the rest of it is feel a lot more energetic, can do more. You wake up, you go to sleep, you have a good sleep. And, you just feel better generally in yourself. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, I wouldn't have thought you were that age. And I think, I don't know whether it's to do with that. It does make your eyes a bit clearer. Your hair shines a lot more. It's just inwards coming out and showing people that there is a change in you, and people have seen it. And they say, well, what are you doing? And I said, well, I've changed my diet habits, and it's the one that I don't need to actually worry about. You just do it automatically, and everything is so quick to do. It doesn't take, an hour, 2 hours to do a meal. It's 20 minutes max, we find. And we don't always have breakfast. We'll have the main meal, and then we're just That's it. Just have that. But I do have peanuts. I do like my peanuts. Have them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I like, in the before times myself, I'd be like, I like to cashews and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that kind of having nuts like that is pretty good. But so has there been any change in things like joint pain or anything about oral health or anything like that?
Well, this is my 4th year going to the dentist, and he hasn't had to do anything. He said, whatever you're doing, carry on doing it. I was so shocked. I thought, oh, it's probably going to have a filling. You're going to need this. He said, no. He said, everything is fine. That's 4 years running now. So I go yearly. I don't have to go every 6 months, which is good because it doesn't cost me that much because it's NHS, but it still comes out as an expense of paying out for things. So, yeah, he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So I did mention it to him, what I'm doing. And he said, he's heard of it. He said, I have heard of it. He said, I'm going to give that a bit more thought. So there you go.
I mean, just generally though, day to day, you must feel like feel cleaner in your
Yeah.
mouth generally because you don't get the same kind of buildup when you're not eating sugar, right?
Yeah. You find beforehand, it'll be all the rubbish that we're eating. You'll wake up in the morning, even though you brush your teeth at night, wake up in the morning, you feel like your tongue is fat. It is fat and claggy. And then you get up and you're, oh, well, what should we have? And it was like, we used to have cereal. So we had cereal, we'll have toast. We tried all different types of bread, whether it be the white bread, brown bread, seeded bread. And the only one we found that was a happy medium was the farmhouse seeded loaf that we were getting. It's called Sensation. And we liked that. And that was what we were having before we went on this carnivore. And wow, didn't even miss it. Didn't even miss it. So no, I mean, to my husband, I said, well, look, we're not bound in concrete to carry on doing this. If we want to stop it, we can stop it. But to be honest, we've done that blip where we've had something, think, we'll go back to that. Bad move. No, bad move. Happy where I am now. It took a few days, the bloatedness after having that. Oh, excuse me. My cat's tearing at my couch. All the clagginess, it takes a few days because you're so bloated. Feels as though it's up there under your chin. And then when you go back to what you're having, it all seems to go away. I can't explain it. I just think it's a marvelous thing.
So that it's interesting you mentioned that clagginess and like
Mm.
you wake up, in the before times you wake up with the kind of that weird
Fat tongue,
tongue, kind of
mm.
fat tongue, yeah.
And stuff around your teeth. You feel like
Yeah.
you haven't brushed your teeth before you went to bed. Yeah.
Mhm. So at that time, did you struggle at all with breathing through your nose when you were lying down?
I did used to have a lot of sinus problems. I don't have them now. No. No. Obviously, if I'd had a few drinks, then I'd probably snore. So yeah, you get that then. But no, that's all gone. Because it used to be blocked all the time. And now it's not. It's free. It's free. I can breathe. If I get a snotty nose, it's because I got a cold.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So that big meal that you're having each day, what is that? Does that
It's
tend to
not
be
a
like
big
a
deal
steak?
actually. It's we don't eat as much as say George would eat. George, from what he's telling us, what he's eating, it's too much for me. I couldn't. No, we'll have say like yesterday, we had the belly strips, pork belly strips, and they're quite big strips. So we had one big strip and three little strips, and that was more than enough to keep us going all day. If I'm doing a 12 till 5 or 12 till 6, we'll have just that breakfast. So we'll have the scrambled egg, 2 sausages, 2 bacon, and a bit of mushroom, and that keeps me going all day. And I'm not hungry. This is the thing. You don't feel hungry. You don't yearn for something other than what you have, and that is
Such an
amazing.
Yeah, such an amazing feeling to get home from a day of work and feel like, "I don't need to eat anything. I'm gonna go and do something else."
Yeah, it's like the peanut side of it, though. There's some I like crunchy peanuts, and I know a lot of people. Some people say that they're not good for you because they don't really digest properly, do they? But it's just having just a little bowl. Just have this little bowl of peanuts, and I'm happy because I don't want anything else.
I mean, the thing is, yeah, I think my body's probably not gonna react all that well to stuff like peanuts, but, I mean, it's a person by person thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you're able to handle it, then, yeah, that's all good. Um So, how about the people around you? Are they kind of has anyone said, "What's this? How come you never look like you're eating when you're at work or
This is the
when you're on
thing.
break?"
Look, they say it's the temptation because you're going in the kitchen, you're picking up the food, you're taking it out to the clients. I don't see it as food. You know, it's chips, it's burger. I like the chicken wings. They're very nice. I do like them. But I don't think about picking. There was only a couple of times where I don't know whether I was dehydrated or just not feeling 100%, and I took a chip. And I thought, no, that'll do. It won't do much harm to me. But it's not, I don't like doing that. Picking is the worst thing to do anyway, on even a day to day thing. That's the stuff that puts the weight on. So no, I don't do that. So yes, I mean, I had a customer. She said to me, um, she says, I'm losing weight. And I said, oh, are you? I said, so what are you doing? She says, I'm just eating this meat thing, you know? And I said, oh, so like carnivore? And she says, well, yeah, I suppose it is. So I said, oh, she's lost 3 stone. But what she does is she eats a week of just having the meat. And if she wants to have a week's break, she goes back onto what she would normally do, but she has still kept the weight off. I says, well, how did that come about then? She said, you did it. I said, what do you mean I did it? She said, I've seen you from the day you started here in this job, and I've seen how you've transformed to the person you are. I went, really? So I never spoke to her about it. She heard it from other people, because even our manager, his uncle, he's strict carnivore, and he's lost a lot of weight. He's strict carnivore, and he's been telling people. I've heard customers talk about it. I've had one customer say, can you have a chat to this man? He says he's too big, he needs to lose weight. And I said, well, to be honest, I said, I'm doing the carnivore diet. I said, and I've lost this amount of weight. So you think your friend's right. He said, I told you, see? So it is about, people are talking about it all the time. And it's not a pressured thing. It's not like you have to go on it. It's not, there's the facts. You give it a go, because it's not, everyone has a different way, a different take on it. It's not saying because it's carnival, you have to be 100%. You tweak it to your way, and if it works, works.
Mm. I think one of the things that might be helping it spread, and I'd like to know your thoughts on this, is, no one's really making money out of this, like, no one's out there saying, "I'm gonna sell you a course on how to eat meat," they're just
Yeah.
saying, This is what carnivore is. Now, if you wanna do it, you go to the supermarket and buy your own stuff to get started," like, there's no profit motive.
No. And when you think of the amount of money you're spending on other things as regards the rubbish, if you buy the quality meat, you still find out that you've got more money in your pocket because you're eating quality products. rather than the rubbish. It's the rubbish that fills you up and costs the amount of money that, you know, people say, oh, I can't afford this, can't afford that. It's not, I don't think it's dear at all. We're not spending loads of money to just feed ourselves. We buy quality meat.
And when you think majority of people who are carnivore, like yourself, like myself, are only eating 1 to 2 times a day, right? With no snacks, with, you
Yeah.
know, so there's not always this thought of, okay, well, what am I going to eat next? What am I going
Yeah.
to eat between breakfast and lunch and all this kind of stuff, you know?
But that's the sort of thing that makes you fidgety. When I was on other diets, it's like you're sitting there like, and in your mind you're thinking, oh, I'm hungry, I want to have something. What can I have? And you reach for the biscuits. I mean, biscuits, we don't have any. When the children were small, we used to keep biscuits and we used to keep little packets of crisp for when they come round. Now they're grown up, there's nothing in the house like that. Apart from the occasional Pringle pot that my husband likes. When I'm working late and I'm working till gone 11 o'clock, he'll say, oh, I did have some Pringles, say, which is fine. It's fine. It's not saying you're going to be told off for it. It's you have to do what suits you. And if you have an effect from it after you've had it, then you know not to do it. That's the way I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were giving a friend advice on how to get started and stick with carnivore, what would you tell them?
Well, funny you should say that. A friend of ours, she's put on weight over the past few months. And she says, I really want to give this a go. She said, but she likes like curries and she likes the pita bread and she likes all the carb side of it that you get. And she says, you know, I like to dip the bread in the sauce. And I says, well, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I says, but why don't you do your own little experiment? Just give it, you know, a week, try it, see how you feel. Then it's down to you. I said, I could only tell you what I've been doing, but I'm not pushing this onto you. This is something you have to do because there's nothing worse than so you have to do this, you have to do that, and then you resent it. So you don't want to resent it, you want to embrace it. And it's a change of life. Here's a change of life doing this.
When you know, if you are getting advice from someone and the advice is a little bit too strict,
Yeah.
you know, like then you feel like I can't slip up. And then if you do slip up, it's like, oh, how am I going to report this back to my friend when they eventually ask me how I'm going? And,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, when you look at you have the Slimming World or you have Weight Watchers, they have to go to a place and stand up, weigh themselves in front of people, and everybody would know whether you've slipped up because you're going to put the weight on, aren't you? To me, that deflates you so much. So you're going to be depressed, go home, do it again, and then you're resenting. You're going to resent what you're doing. Whereas with
yeah,
this, no one knows.
I think that kind of Weight Watchers idea of, you know, weighing everyone in front of each other first, I feel like it's almost treating people like cattle.
Yes.
But secondly, like, yeah, for half the people each week, it must be such a demoralizing experience.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it
know,
is. And as you
yeah.
say, the reason people go on it could be health reasons. I've got osteoarthritis, and I was on I took off eating before I was on carnivore, the anti-inflammatory naproxen. I didn't like that at all. That made me swell, and I thought, oh, so what can I take when I get these pains and aches? And the best thing to do really is you got to keep everything moving. I might take now and again. It's not a regular thing. Anti-inflammatories, ibuprofen, and painkillers. Then I'm fine. But it's not an everyday thing. People say to me, "Well, you know, if you've got osteoarthritis, especially in the winter, you'll feel the joints." Well, no, because I think now what I'm eating, all the fats that you're meant to have, seem to be oiling up your own joints. So to me, it's not affected me.
Yeah. So have you noticed any improvements since you've been carnivore?
Yeah, I don't ache as much as no. I've got a click in my knee, click in my hip, and click in my ankle, but I don't think it's to do with that. That's more to do with I'm on my feet and I'm walking about quite, and so I'm doing too many hours, and it's just yeah. No, so I've reduced my hours now. I've said to the manager I need to reduce them. I don't need to be there. It started off just as a challenge for myself to do something different I've never done. And I mastered it. So been there, done that. Feather to you both. Let it go now.
So Cora, if people want to reach out to you, is there do you have any social media or like Instagram or anything like that?
No, I don't do that.
No worries. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. Thank you so much, and it's so great to hear that you're doing well.
Oh yeah, really, really well. I mean, even George was saying you can eat anything from the animal. Okay.
Mm.
And that's exactly what we're doing. It's really good. So you can have your steaks, you can have your chops.
Thank you so much for coming on, Cora. I really appreciate your time.
Very welcome, Dave. I hope it's been a help.